But again, something like the free market is kind of synonymous with America. And if you don't like it, I don't know how you can say you love this country. You know who loves this country? You know who's not constantly complaining about what happened 200 years ago and who's not obsessed with seeing America through shit-colored glasses and shaking off the stench of what irredeemable privileged we are? Immigrants. AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun.
Bill Maher is once again taking aim at the fringe left, the crowd that loves to bash America while glorifying countries with far worse records. In his latest takedown, Maher points out how, in recent years, many on the liberal side have made a sport of criticizing America for even the smallest imperfections. Sure, some of their points might hold water, but Maher argues the outrage is way out of proportion. So, he stepped in to set things straight, and he didn't hold back. Buckle up, because this one's a ride.
Too many liberals give the impression that to them, America's just a big, ugh. The red, white, and ew. A country that started out bad and will always be bad, founded on an unrelenting history of sucking and unable to change. But we have changed a lot. Democrat Cori Bush tweeted, "This land is stolen land and black people still aren't free." And this was on the 4th of July. Really. Not that I give a shit about the 4th of July. I've never been a rah-rah guy. But I am a perspective guy. And that's what too much of the left has lost, perspective.
Yeah, it honestly gets disheartening sometimes the way parts of the left seem determined to see nothing good in this country. It's as if they're always hunting for something to condemn, some historical sin to hold over America head forever. They say we live on stolen land, but let's be real, nearly every nation on earth was shaped by conquest or conflict, including the very ones they love to idolize. They claim black Americans still aren't truly free, yet this is the same nation that elected a black president just a few years back. Progress isn't perfect, but it's undeniable. That's why Maher's point hits so hard. America isn't flawless, but it's nowhere near the villain it painted to be. Instead of constantly tearing it down, maybe it's time to recognize that scars and all this is still one of the few countries actively striving to be better.
72% of black people under 30 are optimistic about their future in America. Way more than white people the same age. And as far as the land goes, yes, I guess we could change the name of Captain America to Captain Stolen Land.
Trust me, even that wouldn't satisfy the woke crowd. No matter how much you apologize or try to make amends, it's never enough. And honestly, what their endgame here? Are we supposed to just pack up, hand over the country, and walk away? That not justice, that fantasy. This is exactly why so many people are drifting away from the far-left fringe. Their demands keep getting more extreme, more disconnected from reality, and utterly impossible to meet. You can't build a better future by endlessly punishing the present for the past. All it does is divide people further. That not progress, it's self-sabotage. At some point, we need to stop bending to those who can never be satisfied and start focusing on what actually pushes the country forward.
But honestly, to all the people who start every public event now with one of those land acknowledgments where they say, "I'm standing on land that was stolen from the proud indigenous people of the Chumash tribe," I say either give it back or shut.
Yeah, I'm with you. Enough with the pandering and the empty gestures. The woke left loves their land acknowledgments and flowery speeches. But what do they actually accomplish? A few sentimental lines before an event don't change history, and they certainly don't help anyone living today. If they're serious about giving the land back, then let's see them start with their own homes, their property, their universities. But of course, that's where the talk stops. It's all about appearing virtuous without ever making a real sacrifice. Maher's point hits hard because it's true. This obsession with optics over action has turned genuine activism into performance art. America doesn't need more virtue signaling, it needs honest dialogue and practical solutions. Otherwise, all these acknowledgments are just hollow words fading into the background noise.
AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun.
There's no country on earth today that protects and empowers women quite like the United States. From equal opportunities in education and the workplace to the right to speak freely, vote, and lead at every level, American women enjoy freedoms that millions elsewhere can only dream of. So when AOC suggests that America doesn't like women just because voters didn't choose Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris, it rings hollow. Elections aren't about gender, they're about leadership, vision, and competence. No one should be guilt-tripped into voting for a candidate simply to check a diversity box. Kamala Harris, for instance, didn't lose because she's a woman. She lost because she failed to convince voters she was the right choice. True equality means judging everyone by the same standard, not lowering the bar, but expecting the same level of merit and accountability from all.
Congressman Jamal Bowman says capitalism is slavery by another name. No, it's not. It's the thing that has given more people more prosperity and hope than any other system, flawed though it surely is. But
exactly. Capitalism, much like democracy, isn't flawless, but it remains the most effective engine for innovation, progress, and personal freedom. Compared to socialism or communism systems the far left increasingly romanticizes, capitalism has consistently lifted millions out of poverty and rewarded hard work, creativity, and ambition. To be clear, not every liberal is a socialist, but the number leaning that way is undeniably growing. You can hear it in the rhetoric of younger Democrats who talk about redistribution and equity as if they're silver bullets. Figures like Manani have managed to rebrand socialism as something compassionate and fair, ignoring the lessons of history that prove otherwise. The irony: they enjoy the very privileges, comfort, opportunity, and freedom of expression that only a capitalist democracy can provide, yet they seem eager to tear down the very system that makes all of that possible.
But again, something like the free market is kind of synonymous with America. And if you don't like it, I don't know how you can say you love this country. You know who loves this country? You know who's not constantly complaining about what happened 200 years ago and who's not obsessed with seeing America through shit-colored glasses and shaking off the stench of what irredeemable privileged we are? Immigrants.
Exactly. If America were truly the terrible place some make it out to be, then why are people from every corner of the world risking everything just to get here every day? Families sell their homes, empty their savings, and leave behind everything familiar for a shot at the American dream. Many even pay fortunes in their local currency just to set foot on U.S. soil. Why? Because despite its flaws, America still stands for hope, freedom, and opportunity, the promise of a better life. Even in the so-called progressive nations that the left loves to idolize, people are lining up outside U.S. embassies, desperate for a visa. That alone says it all. If America were truly as awful as critics claim, people would be leaving, not coming. The truth is clear: no one escapes to failure, they run toward freedom. And in an imperfect world, America remains its brightest beacon.
Ask any of them why they came here, and they will tell you the same thing. Ron DeSantis put me on a plane. But they will also tell you that America, for all that's so shitty about it right now, is still the last best hope. And those people asking for our votes to take it over should remember that.
Exactly. The Democrats' constant America bashing isn't doing them any favors. You can't win over voters by convincing them their own country is beyond saving. If they truly want the people's trust and their votes, they need to start acknowledging what's right about this nation and celebrating it. America isn't flawless, but it's still a place of freedom, opportunity, and resilience. The GOP understands that, which is why Make America Great Again struck such a powerful chord. It speaks to pride, not guilt, to hope, not shame. Instead of tearing the country down to signal moral virtue, Democrats could take a lesson from that approach. People want to feel proud of where they live. They crave optimism, not outrage. Until the left accepts that patriotism isn't a problem but a strength, they'll keep losing ground to a party that never stopped believing America is worth fighting for.
And that is what's so odd about this time that we're living in. For all the talk about fighting for the soul of America, nobody seems to like it very much.
Anyone who wants to lead this nation has to first remind us why it's worth loving again. Real leadership isn't about dividing people along ideological lines, it's about bringing them together around shared values and common purpose. The Democrats came in with their grand Build Back Better promise, vowing to create a stronger, fairer America. But after 4 years, what did we actually get? Endless debates about pronouns, gender identity, and abortion dominating the headlines. Those topics matter, sure, but they shouldn't drown out the issues that affect everyday Americans. The economy was faltering, inflation was rising, the border was chaotic, and national security felt shaky. Instead of focusing on jobs, safety, and stability, the administration got lost in cultural battles. A true leader cuts through that noise, grounding the nation not in outrage, but in rebuilding what really holds it together: unity, prosperity, and pride in being American.
You can get creative with a novel, a TV show, or a movie, but history books, that's not supposed to be fan fiction. How we teach our kids history has become a big controversy these days, with liberals accusing conservatives of wanting to whitewash the past, and sometimes that's true. Sometimes they do. But plenty of liberals also want to abuse history to control the present. And last month, a scholar named James Sweet caught hell for calling them out for doing just that. He criticized a phenomenon known as presentism, which means judging everyone in the past by the standards of the present.
You can take creative liberties with a novel, a TV show, or a movie, but history books shouldn't read like fanfiction. Lately, the way we teach history has become a cultural battleground. Liberals accuse conservatives of trying to whitewash the past, and sure, sometimes that's true. But plenty on the left are just as guilty of rewriting history to fit their modern narratives. Just last month, a scholar named James Sweet came under fire for calling out this trend, known as presentism, the practice of judging the past by the moral standards of today. The fringe left doesn't just criticize America present, they've made it their mission to dismantle its past. Nothing seems to satisfy them. The present isn't good enough, and the past is beyond redemption. They reject the nation history, its founders, even its symbols, as if perfection were ever possible. Every achievement gets dissected until only flaws remain. It's exhausting, and worse, it's destructive. You can't build a better future by constantly despising the past that made the present possible. Yes, America has made mistakes. Every country has. But it also grown, evolved, and led the world in progress. That what Maher gets right, the goalpost keeps moving, and for those who see everything through the lens of outrage, no amount of progress will ever be enough. America isn't perfect, but it remains the greatest experiment in freedom the world has ever seen. The left obsession with self-loathing helps no one. Real progress begins with gratitude, not resentment. So maybe it's time we stop apologizing for America and start believing in it again. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this.